as I was preparing for this message today, I was trying to figure out, again, where I'm going to go with it, what am I going to say. And as I started to process down what I was going to do and say, I got the question in my head of, like, why am I the way I am? And not a bad way, by the way. So I was like, I've had influences on my life to make me who I am. In short, I think I have followed different people and the things they laid out for me to make me the person I am today. Now, I hope a lot of those followers, the things that I followed were good, but I'm sure there was a fair number of bad things that I followed. Have you ever followed good things and bad things? Maybe even good people and not so good people? Yeah, I know I've done that. I remember the very first person that I wanted to model my life after and be like, and it wasn't my mom and dad, so don't tell them. It was Roger Staubach, okay? The quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, right? I thought he was awesome, quarterback, favorite team, could do no wrong. He was a Christian guy as well. And just the way he carried himself on and off the field, I admired that. And I was like, I want to be just like Roger Staubach. I go out and we play street football out front, and I'm Roger Staubach, and I was always the fair one. I don't know if that's what Roger Staubach really was, but that's what I saw in the guy. And I wanted to be like him, right? And these were, I think, some pretty good attributes. I could have followed people that were way a lot worse, I think. But I think throughout my life, I have followed different people. Because there's something about that person or something that they stood for that I admired. As I got a little older, I kind of started following writers, actually. Robert Heinlein, Arthur C. Clarke, the whole science stuff, right? The whole science fiction stuff. And so I started really getting into science and physics, and because of Arthur C. Clarke, I said, one day I'm going to be a physicist. And look at me now. Yeah, life changes, right? But I think if I asked you, the people that you followed to create the being you are today, maybe you might have to think about it a while. Maybe some people come to mind. Because there's other people out there that have this life that we like, oh, that's really cool. But sometimes in this world, we want to model our lives after people who might not have it all together. A lot of people follow movie stars and musicians and politicians and you name it, right? And we're not all getting all the good stuff out of them, I think, depending on who they are. Because somebody's famous, we want to say, I want to be like that person. But mostly it's because they're famous and they have a lot of money. Yeah, we would all like that part of it, right? But if you had to sit here right now and think about who could I follow right now that holds life and everything to the ideals that I want to follow, who would that be? Maybe you mentioned a person in your head, I don't know. But following is something that we as human beings do. Again, there's somebody who's an example, we follow the things they do. Okay? Even kids, right? Little kids. They follow what mom and dad do. They follow what mom and dad say as well, right, Katie? There's a bunch of followers right here, right? Mama Doug waddles down the street. Where do the kids go? Right after mom. Why? Well, because when they follow mom, they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be fed. They're going to be kept warm. Okay? That's a good reason to follow somebody, I think, right? All the animals, almost anywhere you go in the kingdom, with some few exceptions, they follow mom and dad around for that same reason, for protection, right? Some other animals run around in herds so they can care for one another and keep each other safe and keep each other warm when it gets really, really cold. But they don't really have the cognitive thing to say, I'm following Mama Duck because she stands for this. They just see protection and comfort. But we have a choice of who we follow. Have you ever followed anybody not so good? There's one hand, one nod. 2, 3, yeah, no, yeah. It's okay, yeah, I've done that, right? Sometimes we follow somebody and we realize, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Because this person isn't like the person they thought they were. So we're going to make that mistake, and that's cool. That's just how we're built. But if I had to put all my faith into one person to follow in my life right now, there's only one. There's only one, and I hope it's only one for you as well. Because out of all the people on this planet right now, and all the people who ever lived, even wonderful people like Martin Luther King Jr., and all these other people who had some great ideals, there's only one that I really want to follow right now, and his name was Jesus. Okay? That's the only one I really want to follow. That's the one I want to model my life after. Do I look at other preachers and go, I want to preach like them? I think I do. But the one I really want to follow with my life is this guy named Jesus. You remember Jesus, right? He came down at Christmas time, little baby, changed the world, gave us salvation. Last couple of weeks ago, we talked about how John the Baptist baptized Jesus. And we're still in that mode right there. And Jesus began his earthly ministry. And even followers of John began to follow Jesus after he was baptized. Because they saw something amazing in this guy. In fact, today's gospel shares that Jesus is walking along the beach to some fishermen, Andrew and Peter, the ones we talked about last week, and says, hey, drop what you're doing, drop your nets, come and follow me. And I will teach you to fish for people. And they said, okay. They drop what they have, and they start to follow Jesus. He goes further along, some other people fishing in a boat, hey, come and follow me, and I'll show you some amazing things. And so they get out of the boat, they leave the father behind, and they start to follow Jesus. Now think about it. Maybe they knew Jesus a little bit at this point, maybe they didn't. But this guy walks along the beach and says, hey, drop what you're doing and come and follow me, and things are going to be amazing. What are the chances that you, on that beach, are going to say, sure, and you're going to give up your career, you're going to walk away from maybe family and friends, and follow somebody? Is that something you're likely to do today? Okay, I'll go. I don't know who you are, but it sounds good. They risked a lot. They gave up a lot to follow Jesus, right? Today, we can follow anybody by simply clicking a button on Twitter or on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We just follow somebody, right? Oh, I follow them. Yay. How many people do you follow on Facebook and Instagram and those guys? What are your numbers? Got numbers? Huh?
Mine's at 30. I don't do a lot.
30? I figured you'd have like 300.
No.
I have liked or followed like almost 300 people on Facebook. Do I follow them? No. I look at the occasional post they put out, right? So clicking a little button to follow somebody doesn't take much effort. And if I don't like what they have to say, click, I unfollow them just as well, right? People that I follow in life, very small number. The one I follow with my whole life, only one. It's only one. Because this guy named Jesus is the one who's not going to let me down. They have set up a model that I try to achieve. I try to live like Christ the best I can, and you know what? I fail miserably. And I fail often. But this guy I follow is like, that's okay, that's okay. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. That's the one I can follow that's never going to come back to me and say, you keep messing up, stop, and harass me. And this one is going to love me, though. And it teaches me that when I'm around people that I should be doing the same. I still fail on that one. So I have to go back to that one that I follow and say, can you teach me again how to do this? Okay? You can actually buy flip-flops that say follow Jesus. And you can walk along the beach. Follow Jesus. How many of you would do that? Where you follow Jesus flip-flops on the beach? Yeah, it's a great idea, right? Because you're preaching the gospel, and all you're doing is walking along a beach, right? So I think I'm going to get on Amazon and we're going to get a trip to a beach somewhere. We're all going to go and say, follow Jesus, right? But, look at your own life. What did it take for you to follow Jesus? Was it as simple as somebody walking around with a pair of flip-flops and saying, follow Jesus, and you just did it? Or was there more to it than that? Chances are there's probably more to it than that, right? But constant reminders, that always helps. I tell people why I follow Jesus. He's the one who's made my life whole and complete. Jesus is the one who forgives me every time I screw up. Jesus is the one who always pulls me back to my feet. I can rely on other people, but not the same way I can rely on the one that I call Christ. People let me down. Jesus never has, and Jesus never will. That's why I choose to follow this man named Jesus. And I hope and I pray that if you're here today that you're following Jesus too. Or maybe you're in a mode right now where you're saying, I don't know why I follow Jesus. I don't know why. Well, look around and ask people, why do they follow Jesus? There's got to be some benefit, right? Well, see, the one I follow gives me everlasting life. It's cool. How can I say no to that? The ideals and examples this one named Jesus offers me, flawless. This is somebody that I can live my life by his examples. It's somebody I can strive to be more and more like every single day. Because like I said, people are going to let me down, okay? I know I've shown you this image before, and you're probably going to see it again before Easter. But I love this image. It's on the walk. It's on the way over in Israel and Jerusalem. It's one of the stations of the cross. And it's Jesus leading this crowd of people, and he's got his cross, but everybody else has their cross as well. And I love this picture because it means so much to me. Because see, Jesus is out there carrying his cross, and he's asking us to carry our burdens, but we're not going to carry our burdens by ourselves. Others are going to help us with those burdens, but mostly Jesus is going to take those big burdens from us so that we can walk through life. When I get so burdened that I'm just worn down, I can't ask somebody else to pick those up. Only Christ can do that. And all I have to do is, can you please help me? Sure. I got the load. Let's go on. Then a little bit later on, I'm trying to deal with it well and I can't do it. And I said, Jesus, can you help me with this load now as well? And Jesus says, yeah, I sure can. Let me take that off your shoulders and let's continue walking together. That's why I follow. Because of the difference that this Jesus makes in my life. And I'll share this till the day I die. But sometimes it's like hard, If we follow Jesus, it's not like clicking on a follow somebody on Facebook or something, is it? It's not. We have to make a commitment when we follow Jesus. Because when we follow, we're going to be more and more like Jesus. We have to learn and do what he wants us to do. Live the way he wants us to live. Is that easy to start off with? Is it easy right now to do that? Not always, right? Sometimes it's really hard to get that first step and take that second step. Okay? It all starts with the first step. That little kid just cracks me up. Just looking at the stair going, wow. Probably already looked up and said, that's a long way to go. To a little kid, those steps are huge and ginormous. And sometimes those are the steps in front of us as well. We see this little kid is in front of those stairs, and this is us. All we have to do is this. We got to be down here. We see that stair. Just take one step. One step over. We don't have to run to the top of that staircase. And then we get enough courage out, and we say, I'm going to follow Jesus more. We go up one more step. And then we go up one more step. And we keep our eyes on the steps in front of us and not at that step 1,000 feet away. Because each step we take toward Jesus, the closer we become to Jesus. We're not going to ever be exactly like Christ. But to keep walking toward that path of the model that he set for us, to live life with compassion, to love each other, to help one another always? Is that not a journey worth taking that hard step for? In my life, it is. I've got to keep taking those steps one by one over time so I can grow more like Christ, so I can help more and more people as they go through life. And that's what we're asking us all to do today as you gather here. Today sometime, take at least one more step toward Christ. One more step following this amazing man we named Jesus, who has changed our lives and who has changed this world that we live in. Get the courage. Take the step. And for now, that's a pretty good place to start. Would you pray with me, please? The most gracious and glorious God, Lord, thank you for being with us and showing us some amazing things. Lord, be with us. Allow us to follow you. And give us the courage to take that very first step. In your name we pray. Amen.